furloughed photographer who documented protests starting on May the 31st expected to find white supremacists behind widespread, but instead found anarchists, to a New York Times opinion column. Jeremy Lee Quinn started photographing a Black Lives Matter protest in Santa Monica, California, May 31 when someone notified him that people were a nearby shoe store, New York Times editorial board member Farrah Stockman in a Wednesday column. When Quinn arrived, he saw young people running out of the store carrying shoe boxes, while a group of black-clad men wearing masks behaved like supervisors as the store was looted. Quinn witnessed a black-clad white man break a store window with a crowbar the following day, though he didn't take anything from the shop, Stockman. After reviewing videos of across the country, Quinn noticed similar groups of masked black-clad supervisors, so he dressed the same way and attended a protest, Stockman. Quinn thought the supervisors would be tied to white supremacy groups. Instead, he found a group of insurrectionary anarchists. Close quote. Quinn decided to march alongside groups of black bloc anarchists across the country to learn more about them, to Stockman. He said that, though he respects their optimistic goal to create a society free of hierarchy, some of their tactics made him uncomfortable since they could aid president re-election. Anarchists advertised the protests on social media, drawing cult-like energy to events in Portland, Oregon, and Washington, D.C., Quinn told Stockman. He marched with protesters who launched fireworks at a federal court building in Portland, Oregon, and with protesters who heckled diners in Washington, D.C. The protests following the police killing of George Floyd on May the 25th weren't born of anger, but were strategically organized and advertised on social media by anarchists who thought their actions could advance social justice, Quinn said, to Stockman. Floyd died in police custody after a former Minneapolis officer knelt on his neck for nearly 9 minutes, video shows. Nationwide protests followed his death, with some leading to violence, rioting, and on the third day of protests in Minneapolis, Minnesota, anarchist publication CrimInc reported black-clad individuals breaking windows, vandalizing police cars, and starting fires, before disappearing in the crowd of protesters, Stockman. Some anarchists participate in pacifist civil disobedience, while others justify committing crimes like arson, and by saying it wears down the capitalist economic system, to an anarchist podcast Stockman reviewed. Some anarchist social media profiles gained hundreds of thousands of followers since May, to a Rutgers study. The systematic, online mobilization of violence that was planned, coordinated, in real time, and celebrated by explicitly violent anarcho-socialist networks that rode on the coattails of peaceful protest, co-author Pamela Parisky told Stockman. The ability to continue to spread, and to eventually bring more violence, including a violent insurgency, relies on the ability to hide in plain sight, to be confused with legitimate protests, and for media and the public to minimize the threat, Parisky said. Content created by the Daily Caller News Foundation is available without charge to any eligible news publisher that can provide a large audience. For licensing opportunities of our original content, please contact